didn't realize you were going to be there this weekend. So all of a sudden, earlier today, it was like,
Okay, so the prints this size are 10 each by 3 Rich Bernatovech at C2E2. Subscribe to Raze Chaos.
And welcome back, everybody. My name is Raze Chaos. You have made it back to my channel, and oh goodness, this video was rather a insane bit of research. This video is about Black Manta, and this is an old Black Manta pop. It's new to me, but this pop has been out for a while, and it's not even the first Funko Pop of Black Manta that I have. I actually have two from the movie, or the Aquaman movie, which I now no longer need because I always lean towards the comic accurate versions. The original comic book, the older versions, those are the ones that I love. But yeah, I wanted to do something a little bit special with this because years ago, Raze was reading. Raze reads a lot of history on comic book characters, how they were created, when they were created, the comic book industry in general. Big fan of the whole thing. And as he was reading a book at one point, he had saw a article or a blurb in there about Black Manta, about how Black Manta was the first black supervillain in DC Comics. And something about that didn't sit right with me. So yeah, once I got the pop out, I thought, if I'm gonna make a video about this guy, I'm gonna talk about him. And yeah, so let's put this guy away and let's talk about him. So the big issue with Black Manta being the first black supervillain in DC Comics is that there is no definitive answer to that question. In all honesty, it's really confusing. Yes, Black Manta goes way back. Created, alongside Aquaman and all that. But he wasn't revealed to be black till much later. And when he was revealed to be black, it wasn't by his original creator. So, I mean, they went a long time without giving Black Manta any kind of backstory. He was just an underwater pirate that would show up, create havoc, and then magically make his way out of there. However, there was a character... There was a character called Black Spider. Yeah. Black Spider was a character who was basically DC's answer to the Punisher. He was another vigilante in Gotham City. He would go after the bad guys. The big difference, and like Punisher, they wouldn't survive the encounter. And of course, being the being their answer to a rival character, they have to play it differently. So Batman eventually goes after Black Spider and catches him and puts him away. He was a character that I really felt belonged in the Suicide Squad, in the Ostrander series, and pretty much any incarnation after that. I think they've only used him one time in one of the animated movies, and that was a later version. And I thought, no, why not? They've brought Black Spider back a couple times. Sometimes he's an assassin. They just basically tossed that name around quite a bit. But when he was unmasked, when the original was unmasked, he turned out to be a black guy. And then a year later, Black Manta takes off his helmet and reveals that he is a black man. So, does that count? I mean, yes, he's the older character, but, was he originally created to be that way? It wasn't his original creator that did it. How does that exactly work? And, of course, so for the longest time, just throughout, I've always tossed the idea of which came first, which one does it count when it wasn't the original idea. And, it was essentially, it was retconned even though there wasn't really a necessity to retcon it. He didn't even get a definitive origin until the 90s, so it was like, what the heck? And it was really going back and forth in my head. And then I remembered Black Adam. But then again, Black Adam, he was created way before, probably closer to about the time that Black Manta was created. He came around and he was a black man and he was a villain, so he pretty much counted. But that was Fawcett Comics. And I thought, well, wait, when did DC get Fawcett? And while DC didn't technically own Black Adam until 94, which oddly enough, they actually licensed the Fawcett characters in 72. So they had about 20 years of licensing the characters before they actually owned them, which now of course they do. But then, does that count as DC's first black supervillain? They really don't do the best of jobs, especially DC. They don't do the best of jobs when they're trying to diversify things. They usually do a ham fist right in the middle to mess up everything that has come before, or they do things that basically make confusing situations like this. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take this guy out and have a look at it.
I'm a totally depraved son of a bitch.
And here he is. Yes, despite all his convoluted history, he's always visually been a really, really awesome looking villain. The helmet is also the life support system because he's underwater. He is a pirate, an underwater pirate. He survives by scavenging other people, which a lot of Aquaman's villains tended to be either some kind of big creature that was under the water, or some kind of pirate that got some submarine technology way before the rest of the real world did, or it was involved in the drama of the Throne of Atlantis. Those were the three main adversaries that Aquaman would have back when Aquaman shined. He didn't really lose his luster until they pulled him out of the water and put him in the Super Friends, which he was a fish out of water, quite literally. I like it better when they come here, when they put the being in their element and let them thrive. Black Manta being a very particular defining villain, he really pushed Aquaman to his limits. It's like, I would say it's his worst foe, probably his deadliest. Aquaman and Ocean Master tend to go back and forth because they're competing for the throne and therefore arch enemies. But Black Manta is a pretty dastardly individual, and yeah, I always love it when they put characters in situations that really kind of reveal more about the man behind the hero. And Black Manta did that in a big way, and in doing so, he had kidnapped Aquaman's son, and basically set Aquaman up into a gladiatorial situation where he was just like, you have to win this combat in order to save your son. And Aquaman's like, cool, show me who I gotta take down. And lo and behold, it was actually Aqualad. And there was a really great, it's one of those things where you get to see the big differences between the heroes and the sidekicks on the life that, like, say, Dick Grayson had with Bruce Wayne, and even, you know, when you compare the original Teen Titans and their backstories, it's really quite fascinating how different they all are and the different relationships. The one that was always least tackled was Aqualad's, because nobody gives a damn about Aqualad. But yeah, in this situation, Aqualad's like, okay, hey, how are we going to work this? How are we going to team up and beat him? And Aquaman's like, that's my kid, you're going to die. So yes, Aquaman was fully prepared to kill his sidekick to save his son. And that, of all the hero's sidekick breaches, that has to be the absolute worst. But we're just going to take a closer look at this guy, and I love that they put this little thing in his hand. Because Black Manta always had this little dagger thing. I'm not sure exactly what it's supposed to be. But sometimes it was simply a bladed weapon. Sometimes it actually shot stuff. I mean, he eventually gets a staff and everything, but this kind of did it all anyway. The weirdest part about it is that something so powerful and so, you know, constantly have it around him, you would think he had a holster for it or something, but he generally just always held it. And it's like, okay, well, now the staff kind of makes more sense, but like, why wouldn't you have a holster for this thing if you wanted it with you all the time? Yeah. One of the best Aquaman villains that has ever set forth, and also one of the very oldest. He was definitely, once I had the opportunity to get a comic accurate version of a character, you know I'm going to jump on it, and that's exactly what I did with this one. So yes, I have got two Black Manta Funko Pops from the Aquaman movies that I don't really care anything about now. Hence why Raze is trying to slim things down, because he does crap like this. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little stroll down Black Manta Lane that you never thought you were going to get or even wanted. But I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now. Let me know down in the comments below what you think as far as the weird little controversy on whether who counts as DC's first black supervillain. Is it Manta, whose origin wasn't even revealed until like 93, wasn't even revealed to be black until 77, or Black Spider, who first came out in 76? Or do you just really want to count Fawcett's Black Adam as a DC character, even though he wasn't owned by DC at the time? Let me know in the comments below, because I think this would be a really, really interesting, and I'd love to hear other people's opinions on this one. So hit me up down below, and never forget, the life is full of odd moments. You never know when you're going to be defined.
Yeah.